All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we're talking Seattle Seahawks defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence. Lawrence is a new Seattle Seahawk this year, and he has stepped up in a big way, and he had an incredible performance against the Minnesota Vikings. Honestly, one of the all-time great effort plays I've ever seen, plus a lot of big-time game-changing efforts from number 0. We'll break down everything he did so well. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. It's a big help to us. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a pass rush situation. There's Lawrence, number 0, right there on the right side of your screen. You can see the Seattle Seahawks got 3 guys over here. 1, 2, 3. Number 58 over there is all the way off your screen on the left. On one side of the offensive line, you got Lawrence by himself over here with the linebacker walked up. But basically, the goal here is to create a one-on-one matchup, right tackle on Lawrence. But here's the thing. Lawrence recognizes number 33 is leaking out in the flat. He tries to check him, and he actually falls flat on his face. But he ends up getting up and forcing the fumble. Guys, this is an all-time hustle play. Literally, this should be an historic NFL films kind of play. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Has time. Hits a check down. He's open. There's Lawrence from behind. Watch him. Boom. Forces the fumble. Seahawks recover. Awesome play. Let's look at it from the wide copy, guys. This is going to look absolutely bonkers. Watch Lawrence here. Goes for the chip. He misses. He falls flat on his face. Right there. He's 8 yards behind the play. Look at his effort. Get up, hustle, knock the football out from behind. You talk about championship effort, guys? This is awesome. Right here, this is bad. Obviously not great. Happens to the best of us, of course, right? You miss your chip, you kind of get caught off balance, you fall flat on your face. Listen, NFL players fall just like us, especially going, 100,000 miles an hour, right? It's going to happen. Running back's wide open, but look at this effort. Look at this hustle, and then to force the football out from behind. I mean, look at this shot right here. Look at that. Boom. Guys, I can't get over this play. This may be the greatest hustle play I've ever seen. Especially considering the beginning of the play, right? Getting knocked flat on your face right here, behind the offense completely. A lot of players, they kind of wind it down. They're like, okay, I'm going to kind of trot, hustle upfield, make it look like I'm hustling upfield. But Lawrence is going 100 miles an hour. He knocks the football out from behind. He's playing at one speed. The other 21 players on the field are playing at a completely different one. This is special from 0. When the Seahawks brought Lawrence in from Dallas, they knew they got an experienced playmaker that was at the end of his career, right? They had some injury concerns, but they felt they could get the best out of him. Guys, this may be an all-time play here from Lawrence. I really believe this. This is just a great learning example for anyone watching this. If you're a current player, high school, college, whatever. Sometimes you're going to have a bad play. Sometimes you're going to fall flat on your face. Not good right here from 0, but you get up, you hustle, you help your team win, just like Lawrence does right here. All right, how about another highlight play from Lawrence? And there he is right there, lined up by what we're going to call a 6-eye technique on the inside eye of the tight end right here. And it's going to be a play-action boot for the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to work this way. Lawrence does a great job reading it. He feels the tight end work inside, but he reads that it's going to be a throw. He bounces outside, gets pressure on the quarterback, almost gets the sack, forces number 12 to throw up an interception that's returned for a touchdown. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap, play action. There's the pressure. Lawrence has him. Quarterback makes a dumb decision, intercepted, and return for a touchdown. Not good for Minnesota, really good for Seattle. Let's break this down. You can see Lawrence right here, swims to tight end, north and south, gets a good pressure, right? It's really good play from Lawrence, but you also have to understand the context of this play. So this is a concept that every offense has, and it works literally 99% of the time. Play fake one direction, but it's a bad play fake. The running back just sprints to the flat. Usually it's wide open. Again, 99 times out of 100, this is an easy completion for a first down. Remember, this is 4th and 1. Lawrence blows this play up. So instead of being a first down for Minnesota and probably a touchdown if they convert, it's a touchdown the other way. This is the special playmaking ability of DeMarcus Lawrence. And we saw this in Dallas for a long time. And he didn't get quite as much credit as he deserved because he was playing next to Micah Parsons. But he would make plays like this that you shouldn't make with his just natural instincts and length and hustle and athleticism. Again, 99 times out of 100, this play action, running back in the flat, wide open, or you throw it to Jefferson in the end zone right there for a touchdown, right? Again, 99 times out of 100, this is a first down or a touchdown. This is one of the best plays every single team has in their playbook. But DeMarcus Lawrence, because he's a special playmaker, because he's smart, savvy, long, athletic, he disrupts this, results in a touchdown for Seattle.
It's been good seeing Lawrence back in the pass rush. He's getting back to his old ways of being a menace in the pass rushing game. He's had 13 total pressures the last 3 weeks, showing some really good stuff, as well as the sack, as we saw in this game here. But in the past 3 weeks, Lawrence been getting back to his old pass rushing ways, doing some really good stuff.
All right, how about a more normal pass rush? And there's Lawrence right there on the right side of your screen, line up in a 5 technique on the outside shoulder of the Vikings right tackle. You can see the Seattle Seahawks, they're in a pass rushing alignment. Right here, they got Murphy as a stand-up guy in the center. That's kind of interesting. He's going to slant this way. They're going to loop 99 around, and it's going to be one-on-one on the edges, one-on-one right here with Lawrence coming off the edge. He does a great job working through the right tackle and getting a sack on the quarterback. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pressure. Pocket starts to collapse. There's number 0 to make the play. And that's all Lawrence does is make plays. Watch him work through the right tackle right here. Great punch, knock his arms away. Great punch again. You know, Lawrence is really good with his hands. He's got great length, but he uses his hands, that punch, really well. Watch him knock 75's hands away right there, and now put his hands in 75's chest, walk him back, and then make the sack. You know, the playmaking, the production has been off the charts for 0, and that's been one of the things when you go back to his Cowboys career, one of the knocks on him is that consistently he wasn't as productive, right, as guys, for example, like Micah Parsons, in terms of getting sacks, tackles for loss, all that kind of stuff. This year for Seattle, he's been insanely productive, and that's a credit, of course, to Mike Macdonald and how they're using him in the Seattle defense, but it's also a credit to DeMarcus Lawrence for stepping up in a big way. You can see here, once again, I love the way he handles this technique because this offensive lineman here does a pretty good job. Square, good base, but Lawrence just uses his length and his leverage. You see how he uses his right arm. It's kind of hard to see because the goalpost is right there to knock away 75's hands, and then he immediately goes to a bull rush, works through the tackle, gets a sack. Nice job. All right, from the wide copy, you see Lawrence right there near the top of your screen, one-on-one, knocks the arms away, works through the tackle, makes the play. Production, production, production. When it comes to winning games and when it comes to winning playoff games and making deep postseason runs, it's about making the play. You know, there's a stat people love to talk about, pressures from edge rushers, how often a guy gets pressure on the quarterback. And it's not unimportant, but I want the guy who makes the play. I want the guy who gets the sack, who forces the fumble, right? A guy who gets a hit on the quarterback. Pressures matter and they can lead to interceptions and all that, but I want the quarterback to get hit. I want the fumble to be forced. That's what DeMarcus Lawrence is doing, and that's what we see right here. All right, let's go back to the running game, and there's DeMarcus Lawrence right there on the left side of your screen. So this is what I call the check-the-box kind of play. The Minnesota Vikings are going to run a toss, working to the offensive right, the right side of your screen, away from Lawrence. They're going to bring some motion pre-snap this direction to get some flow from the linebackers and safeties. But this is the play where everyone up front is basically reach blocking and trying to get hats on hats to try and get an edge here and have the running back find a crease on the outside wherever he can. But when I say this is a check-the-box play, when you're unblocked like Lawrence is here, you got to pursue down the line of scrimmage, and if the running back cuts back at all, you've got to make the play. I say for young players, if you don't make this play, you can't play defensive end. For older players like DeMarcus Lawrence, if you don't make this play, it may be close to the time to hang it up. Lawrence checks the box. Let's check it out. There's a motion. There's a snap. There's a toss. Trying to go wide. There's Lawrence to help make the tackle. A+. Checking the box. Hustle. Effort. Production. Love to see it. You know, watch DeMarcus Lawrence play. He's not a veteran that feels like he's been there enough and he doesn't have to go 100 miles an hour. Some veterans, and I'm not going to name names, but you guys know the kind of players I'm talking about. You know, they get these situations, they say, listen, I'm here to rush the passer, or I'm here to, you know, play 20 snaps a game, 30 snaps a game. I'm, you know, help a team win a championship. I'm not here to hustle and play. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's here to hustle and play, and I love to see it. You can see Seattle plays this really good. 99 blows it up initially. 13 flows over the top to help make the tackle. He actually makes the tackle. So it's well defended by Seattle regardless. But the effort matters, guys. That's how you get forced fumbles. That's how you get takeaways. It's how you get defensive touchdowns. The effort, the hustle, the speed, the length, everything you want in a defender, DeMarcus Lawrence has. This is why Mike Macdonald was so high on him. People talk about Macdonald looking for his, you know, his Hamilton. He got that in Amon Mori, of course, at the safety position. But I think Macdonald generally likes players that are long, fast, athletic, and hustle, and DeMarcus Lawrence is proving him right.
As I alluded to earlier, Lawrence doing some good stuff in pass rush, but also just as a whole, hit a breakout game this week versus Minnesota. Really strong play across the board, very balanced game for him. Netting him a very insanely high 95.5 PFF overall defensive grade. Really great grades when he dropped into coverage once in this game. Great pass rush grades, great tackling grades, and great run defense grades as well.
Going back to a pass rush situation, there's Lawrence right there in the middle of your screen, standing up in front of the center like he's going to do a pass rush move right here. And this is versatility at its finest, right? Because you don't know if you're the offensive line where Lawrence is going to go. Is he going to go straight ahead? Is he going to go into this A gap? Is he going to loop back around? Is he going to loop all the way back around? How about go to the right? Could he be slanting this direction? You're going to have your head on the swivel if you're the Vikings left guard. They've got to come up with a plan to handle Lawrence, and guess what? Mike McDonald throws another wrench at him. Lawrence actually drops into coverage and takes away the in-breaking route. Remember, if you're the quarterback right here, if you're number 12, you see all the screen space, and you're like, that's where I want to go. But Lawrence, he's good enough to drop into coverage and take it away. Versatile playmaker for sure. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Lawrence drops into coverage. Quarterback has to throw quick outside. Airmails it, incomplete. This is good defense. Now, young quarterback here making a mistake. I think he's a little too quick. But let's say he hangs in the pocket a little bit more, and he tries to go over the middle. You can see right there the in-breaking route. Lawrence is right there in the quarterback's vision. This is a defensive end edge rusher getting out in space, zone blitz right there to take away the in-breaking route. This is where quarterbacks are taught to go with the blitz. Hey, go where the blitzers come from. How about number 91? How about the big guy getting out in space? This is a multiple defense, guys, and I love it from Mike McDonald. Obviously, one of the best coaches, one of the best defensive coaches in the NFL for sure. I think one of the best coaches overall. And it just confuses quarterbacks. Young quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, it doesn't matter. They make mistakes. We've seen Matthew Stafford make mistakes. We see poor number 12 from Minnesota make mistakes, as we saw last Sunday. And a big part of that is versatile playmakers like Lawrence stepping up, guys who can do a lot of different things. All right, for the Y copy, it looks really good. You see Lawrence right there in the middle of your screen. They get a little pre-snap motion at the top of your screen. He drops into coverage right there. That's where he wants to go, that curl route in the middle of the field. But he sees Lawrence drop into coverage, or if he didn't see Lawrence, he would have seen him and says, okay, I can't go there because that's a deflection or an interception. I got to go the deep out. But he's so hurried, he's so rushed because he feels the pass rush. This is a double Lawrence effect. When you got all these guys on the line of scrimmage, the quarterback's like, I got to hurry up my internal clock. I got to get rid of the sucker. But when you're able to drop guys into coverage, the quarterback, who's already hurried up because he saw the pass rusher literally on top of the center, forces it outside. But even if he didn't hurry up his internal clock and he says, okay, I have time, I can hit the man over the middle, Lawrence is right there to make the play anyway. Lawrence gets him coming and going. Nice job here by the Seattle D. All right, I wanted to take a quick break from today's video to talk about something we're excited to offer, and that is weekly giveaways of a lot of high quality stuff. We appreciate our viewers, and that's why we want to give you guys the opportunity to join these weekly giveaways. There's a link in the description box below that takes you right to it. And this week we're talking about a $350 Yeti Tundra cooler like you see on the screen in front of you. Again, just go to the link in the description box below, enter in your email, and you have a chance to win. The drawings will be made every Sunday. You'll be announced whether you won via email, so make sure you check that out. Again, appreciate our viewers. Now let's get back to the video. All right, going back to the running game, and there's Lawrence right there on the right side of your screen. So the Minnesota Vikings are going to run kind of a power concept here. They're going to have the tight end come in motion, and then he's going to come back out and lead through the hole, and they're going to pull the backside guard. Everyone else is basically blocking down just like this. So it's going to be a run running right behind the polar and the tight end coming around. Lawrence basically goes unblock off the end. He goes up the field initially, then circles back around. I love the effort and the hustle, but sometimes Lawrence guesses a little bit. I want him to sometimes stay home a little bit more to be more mindful of what could be coming. Let's check it out. There's a motion. There's a snap. There's a handoff. Decent little run. Not a whole lot there. I love the effort from Zero. Watch DeMarcus Lawrence. Hustle to the football. Knock some guys over. Love to see that. But my one complaint with Lawrence is right here. Okay, you're out of position. Right? You're up the field attacking the quarterback, and there's a crease right here potentially. Now, I'm not saying you can make the play by yourself before, but I want you to be a little tighter, or I want you to take on the quarterback directly, right? Get in his face, not hit him. Don't do anything stupid. But he kind of gets in no man's land here, and this is one of the things that would happen sometimes with him in Dallas, because he can guess every once in a while, and if he guesses wrong, you can surrender some big plays. Either take the quarterback right now, or don't. And I think sometimes because he plays so downhill, so aggressive, it's his biggest strength. He hustles so hard. And we see here, this is a high effort play. Again, I love the effort. A+ effort from Lawrence. I just want to see him commit one way or the other. Because I think one way the Seattle defense can be beat, we've seen it a few times this year with Lawrence on the field, is some misdirection, right? Lawrence or some other player guesses, and the play's going the other way. I think Lawrence, when he's at his best, it's like when we saw the pick six, when he attacks and is hyper-aggressive. Like we saw with the forced fumble, right? He chipped the running back, was hyper-aggressive, and then got up and hustled. When he's super aggressive and makes a decision and stick with it, he's a great player. Right here, a little bit of no man's land action, something I want him to be more consistent on.
Definitely a big part of Lawrence's game that needs to be cleaned up is missed tackles, which can be detrimental in games. And that's something that has happened too many times the past few weeks. He has missed 6 tackles in the last 3 games alone. So we've seen him time and time again the last couple games, multiple missed tackles, something I think he can really focus and clean up in that regard. But the season hasn't been a big issue. Last couple weeks, definitely been an issue for Lawrence.
All right, let's end on a great hustle play from Lawrence, and there he is, of course, right there on the right side of your screen. Once again, he's going to be unblocked, but he settles here and breaks down, and he sees the running back Aaron Jones leak out the flat off a play action concept, and he immediately puts his foot in the ground and attacks and hustles. Again, A-plus effort from Lawrence. This is when he's at his best, when he recognizes, reacts, and attacks. Once he goes full speed in one direction, there may not be a better edge defender right now in the National Football League, right? Obviously, guys like Garrett and Parsons and Crosby are more productive, and at this point in their careers, they're better overall players, but in terms of stepping up and delivering playmaking, when Lawrence is on a beeline, when he's playing like a missile, there may not be anybody better like he is on this play. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the fake handoff. Throw to Aaron Jones. Hustle, defense. Lawrence with a big hit out of bounds. Watch this effort from zero. Laying out completely to get another pop. Right there. Look at that effort. Talking about this veteran. Talk about championship effort. This is what we're talking about. It's not a one-play thing. It's not a one-off. Every play from DeMarcus Lawrence, he plays at one speed, and it's I want to win a Super Bowl speed, and I love to see it from zero. We know he's good against the run game. We've seen him check the box in this film review. We know he can still do good one-on-one pass rush. We know he's a great playmaker. His hustle, his athleticism, his length, all of that is still A+. And Seattle Seahawks fans, you obviously made one of the bigger steals of the offseason, bringing in DeMarcus Lawrence for sure. Had some injury issues last year with Dallas, but he's come back with a vengeance. I think in my mind, he's sort of an under-the-radar target for comeback player of the year. Doesn't get the attention like other big-name guys do, but he's had a huge impact for the Seahawks defense, and I think he'll be huge for them going forward. Again, he can do it all. Hustle plays, effort, tackling in space, forcing turnovers, pass rush, stopping the run. Everything you want in a defender, everything you want in a leader, everything you want in a playmaker, you get in Lawrence.